So till now you defined four classes here: program, test program. Last class you defined user-defined types and also output parameters. Yeah. So this is what I explained you. From C# 7 onwards, you can write the code like this. Clear? And how to call it also, I shown you different varieties of calling. I shown you different varieties of calling this also in the last class. I explained all these things now. So today we are going to discuss about in-out parameters. So in-out parameters. Okay. So let me add a new class in the project. We'll name this class as in-out parameters.cs. In-out parameters.cs. Fine. Watch. So what do you want to define? I want to define a class called in-out parameters.cs. Fine. Say, look at this. If you just see, what is my intention? I want to write a method that has in and out parameter at a time. What I want to do, I want to write a method called factorial, public void factorial. For this method, I want to pass one number. I want to pass a number, int, okay, int f. And now I'm writing out int result. So what happens now? F will bring a value inside and result will take a value outside, correct? Huh? Already we learned in the last class, F will bring a value inside. Result will take the value outside. So this is one parameter and this is one parameter. Without declaring these two parameters, guys, I'll remove this here and I'll simply use the ref keyword here. So what happens, the same parameter will first bring a value inside and the same parameter will now carry a result outside also. Both will be done by the same parameter. Got it, all of you? Yes or not? In in-out parameter, you are assigning value to out parameter, correct? In the previous example, in in-out parameter, you are assigning value to out parameters. C and D are the out parameters. Okay, now, but here you are required to assign the value to the ref only, in-out parameter only. See here, we are assigning results to C and D, where C and D are out parameters. But here you are required to assign the final result to F only. Don't forget, F will bring a value. You do all the calculations. Finally, result should be assigned to F again. Clear? I'm using uint, guys, so that an unsigned integer doesn't come into the method now. It doesn't accept a unsigned integer. Okay. Now, what's the logic? Tell me. What is factorial of 0? Factorial of 0. I have 1. Factorial of 0 is 1, not 0. Factorial of 0 is 1. Factorial of 0, factorial of 1, both are 1 only. 0 is also 1 only. So, if f is equals to 0 or f is equals to 1, it is 0 or 1. If you send 0 or if you send 1, what should I send you back? 1. So final result is 1, right? F is equals to 1. This is what I'm telling you. Finally, you should assign the result to F only. F only should contain the final result in it. F is equals to 1. Okay? Next. Watch. Else. When will it come to else part? It will come to else part from 2 onwards. It will come to else part from 2 onwards. Okay now? I'm writing a for loop here. For not int. Uint I is equals to 2. Start from 2. I less than or equal to F. I less than or equal to F. I plus plus. So how many times will loop runs here? If F is 5, loop runs from 2 to 5. If F is 2, loop runs from 2 to 2. It is only one time. Here, now, here, on the top of the for loop, I'm going to declare another variable here. Uint result is equals to 1. What value? 1. Now here I'm writing Result is equals to result into I. Can you understand the logic now? What am I doing here? Suppose f is 5. F is 5. Loop runs from 2 to 5. First time I is 2. F is, sorry, result is 1. Result is 1. I is 2. And now see, 1 into 2, 2 is assigned now. 1 into 2, 2 is assigned. Next, the result is 2. I is 3. 2 into 3, 6 is assigned. Next result is 6. I is 4. 6 into 4, 24 is assigned. Now result is 24. I is 5. 120 is assigned. Now see, once the execution of the loop completed, final result is present in result now. Am I right? Now answer this question. You need to have the result in the result I of result should be in the result I of F. What I said you, the final result should be assigned to F. It should not be in the result. So what should happen? Come here, and if you say F is equals to result. See, here also you assign the result to F only. Don't forget. Here also you are assigning the result to F only. Are you clear? Now, first it will bring 5 into the code. And now it will take 120 out of the code. It will bring 5 and it will take 120 out of the code. Whatever it brings here. If it brings 0, you take 1 outside the code. You bring 1, 1 only. Take 2, 2 is 2 only. 3, 6, 4, 24, 5, 120. Whatever you pass, the final result will come out. Okay, how to call it? Watch. Static void main. Create the instance of your class. What's that? In-out parameters. Here, basically, this is AI, guys. Artificial intelligence. What is that? When you're typing, to show you things, have you noticed? This is the latest inbuilt into 2022. It's not, this feature was not available until 2019. This feature was built into 2022. AI, artificial intelligence, basing on your past things and all the things, it will be showing you the hints to you. You can simply use a tab key and that will be writing up the code. Microsoft is making the things much simpler and easy for you day by day. Are you clear? Just use the tab key. That's all. It will write up the code. A lengthy name, a bit lengthy name. Let me cut short. OBJ. Okay. Next, when you write OBJ dot, it will show you the hints to you. What methods you wanted to call. The list will come there. Shows you the list of all the methods. Showing you the list of all the methods now. Which method you wanted to call? Factorial. Okay. Just to select a factorial. And factorial requires an input. Factorial requires a input. It requires a input now. What is an? I should pass some number as input now. Okay, watch it all of you. Carefully notice. Uint fact, something here I'm giving, declaring some. Uint x is equals to 5. How much I am saying? 5. Now I'll say come here and here say ref x. Ref x. This 5 will go inside now and gets 120 outside. That's it. Watch it all of you. Console dot write line. Value of x. Value of x before method execution. Value of x before method execution. What is the value of x before method execution? Clear? Now I'm writing the same thing here. Value of x after method execution. What is the value of x after method execution? 120. It's going to be 120 now because this x will go, 5 will go, 120 will come back now. Console dot read line. Not output parameters. What's it? In-out parameters. In-out parameters.cs. Yeah. What? Are you clear? Is it proven now? The same value went, the same variable has taken the value, the same variable has got back the value. First 5 went there, now 120 came back. You still have any doubts on it? Place a breakpoint and debug the code. I'm telling all of you, make a habit of debugging. How much you debug, that much better you'll understand the coding also. Tomorrow, it will become easy for you to fix their scoring and all the things. So just to make the habit of debugging the code always, guys. It's very clearly telling you. Okay, now, okay, debug. So that's what will help you in improvising your skills also. Okay, so before 5, after 120. Are you clear? Can we access output parameter before assigning? I did not understand. What do you mean by before assigning access? So from where you want to access? From where you want to access? No, you cannot pass a value directly. You cannot pass a value directly. Someone is asking the question, can I directly pass a value like this? You can't. Why? How can you pass a value here? The result will come back. To capture the result, variable is required now. So you can't directly pass a value. Direct passing value possible only for input, not for output or in-out. For output or in-out, it is mandatory to have a variable there. Clear? Fine. Understood all the three now? Input parameter, output parameter, in-out parameter. Okay, practice them, guys. Debug the code. Place breakpoints. In the runtime, when you put mouse there, it will show you the values also. Loop executing now. F10, when the loop is, put your mouse on the variable names. It will show you one value, one new value. All the things it will show you. Clear? You use F10 line by line just to go for debugging. The loop, how many times the loop runs, everything else it will show you. Okay, so this is going to be the process how you are just going to execute the code. Okay now? So fine, guys. When all of you started working with logical programs, practice them, guys. Every day, one program, debug. Every day, take one program as a target. Don't write off multiple programs also. Don't write off multiple programs also. Write only one program every day. Is it clear? Write only one program every day. Got it? One program only, write a day. More than one, do not write. So just that program only, debug it so that you'll just understand the process. So you need to be practicing in such a way, you should be in a position to write the code without looking into the notes. Clear? Fine. It's all about input parameters, output parameters, and in-out parameters. Okay. So, yeah. I was explaining about this in the last class to you. So understood refer out? Okay now? And next, are you clear with this n parameters? Any number of parameters. Still what we left out? Params. Default. Both these. Okay, let me tell you how to use this params and default value. If you look at this, I'm just going to write a program here. Method parameters.cs. Method parameters.cs. Look, I'm writing one method, add parameters. I'm writing a method called add parameters. Suppose I want to write a method for adding 2 numbers. I'll pass 2 parameters to the method. I wanted to add 3 numbers. Then what do you do? A method with 3 parameters. But see the problem here. Sometimes you want to add 2 numbers. Sometimes you want to add 3 numbers. Sometimes you want to add 4 numbers. Sometimes you want to add 5 numbers. So writing a separate method for each and every list of values is complicated now. one method for 2 numbers, one method for 3 numbers, one method for 4 numbers, one method for 5 numbers. Writing multiple methods like this is a lengthy process. To overcome this problem, what you can do, simply take a array as a parameter. When you take an array as a parameter, what is the advantage? Through this array, you can pass any number of values into this method now. Array can hold any number of values. So 3 values, 4 values, 10 values, 20 values, any number of values you can pass into the program with the help of the array. Okay? And when the values are in the array, I want to add all them. I explained you already with command line arguments. Do you remember? I want to add all these numbers. A simple code. I already explained you. Watch. Double result is equals to 0. Double result is equals to 0. Next. For each. Double in arc. Okay. This is the name of the array, guys. You can give whatever name you want. That's your choice. Now what you write? Result is equals to result plus arc. So the loop runs one by one value will come now and added. Finally, result will contain the sum of all the numbers we passed. Earlier I shown you the string array. Today we are talking with a double array. If it is string array, I did not write directly arg here. What did I write? Double dot parse off, and that will be written again. But today no need, because directly what you are getting is double only. If it is string, suppose if this is string now the problem comes. Here I need to change to a string, and here I need to again write double dot parse. But what am I taking? Double. When I directly take a double, conversion not required now. Straight away it works. Next. Console dot write line. Console dot write line. Sum of array. Sum of args dot length numbers is okay, I'll name the variable as sum. No problem, any name you give. What print you sum of? Given how many numbers? 3 numbers are, 4 numbers are, 5 numbers, it will tell you is, and here it will print you the sum. Okay now? Static void main. Create the instance of the class first. Method parameters p is equals to new method parameters. Okay. P dot. What is method? Or I will give a simple name add params. I give a simple name add params. But guys, what add params take? So what you require to do first, first you require to declare a double array. Double array D1 is equals to create an array. After creating an array, then you should call p dot add params of right. Did you understand? Array, the method expects an array. So because the method expects an array, what are you doing first? Creating an array. After creating an array, that array is what you are passing here. Now this array contains how many numbers? 2. If you want to pass, you can pass 3 numbers also, 4 numbers also, 10 numbers also, 100 numbers also. No problem at all. It will add you and it will give you the result of all. Understood my point? What you did not get is about changing double string. Earlier we have written this method already. Earlier we have written this code already, but that time we have taken a string. Go and check out your notes. Command line arguments. I explained that already. Here we have string. Because that is string conversions required for performing addition. Now it is a double. For a double, do you require any conversion to addition? You get double, no need any conversions to addition. But earlier we have shown you this code already in the command line arguments classes. On that day here we have what? String array. Can you add strings? Because we cannot add strings. On that day, what did I show you? Array first before adding converted. After conversion only addition works. But here no need conversions because directly what you are getting is double only. That is what I said to you. That's all. Yeah. Look now. Oh, sorry. Got it? How many? Two numbers. Sir, can I pass three numbers? Array 3, 4, 10, 20. Your choice. No issue at all. Okay, watch it. I want to pass three numbers. Three numbers. I can pass any different combination of numbers. See, one integer. Afterwards, double. Again, integer. Again, double. Right. So like this, you can just add any number of numbers as per your requirement. Like this, you can pass any number of values in this. Okay. So like you're just going to pass a double array, two numbers, three numbers, four numbers, five numbers. You can pass it and you can get the result. You can pass it and you can get the result. Okay. Next. The next thing here is, here we have a small problem. What is the problem? Whenever I want to call this method, first I should create an array. Whenever I want to call this method, first I should create an array and I need to pass the array to the method because the method requires an array only. See, you require a large size dress. I should give you large size only. I cannot give you something else. So the method takes array. The method takes array. What should pass is array only. I cannot pass anything else. Are you getting me? So that's why first I should create an array. Can't it directly pass the values here? You cannot. See, if you directly pass the values here, error comes. Red line, see. Okay, if you directly try to pass the value, you get a red line error. It wants accept. It's not going to accept. Compulsory, what you require to pass? Array only. Are you clearer? But guys, answer one thing. If I'm getting an error if I pass, but if I can pass like this is easy and simple. Array, if I can pass like this is easy and simple. Agree or not? Yes or not? So just guys see, I'm passing p dot add params, and here I'm writing. I'm passing a single value. Doesn't accept. What it accepts is only array. But you cannot pass individual values. But what I'm asking is, if I can pass individual values like this, it is easy. Then again creating an array. Am I right? If you want that, simply come here and here write params. What do you write? Params. That's it. Run. Execute it. See? I did not create arrays. Watch. So what about the arrays, sir? It will create internally. It will create internally. I don't require to create. Just to only use the keyword called params. Now I pass one value, two values, three values, four values, five values, 10 values, 100 values. It executes. I'm not responsible to again create an array. Now which one is easy? Putting a params keyword and passing the values list is easier, or again creating an array and passing is easier. That's it. Simplification, guys. It was just giving you the option for simplification always. So you can just prefix the params keyword here. Once you prefix the params keyword here, the array will be implicitly created. The array will be implicitly created. Unknowingly, we have used this feature already. You know that unknowingly, we have used this feature already. Where, sir, where we used it? Do you remember one day we have written a program for adding two numbers? The first program I take how to take input from the users, I explained you console.readline and all. On that day, to print the results, I've written the code. What? Console.writeline sum of, okay, 0 and 1 is 2, comma, x, comma, I, comma, j, comma, k. Remember, I have explained this concept to you. I value goes into louder. J value goes into 1. K value goes into, remember this number? So how many values am I substituting here? 3. Or you can substitute 4 values also. Array, tomorrow there are 4 numbers. I just require to substitute 4 values now. 5, 6, any number means tomorrow I can write like this. Just observe it. I'm writing like this. What? 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, comma, 3. Okay, now, and here I'm just writing val 1, val 2, val 3, val 4. How many are substituted? 4. Array, tomorrow like this, can I substitute 100? Like this, 99. Okay, and here also, what's it? Value 99. How many values are substituted? 100. 0 to 99 na? How many? 100. Okay, can you answer this question now? I'm not asking how many values are substituted now. How many parameters are you passing to the method? I did not ask you how many values are you substituting. You are substituting 3 values, right? Only. How many parameters are you passing to the method? That is the question. Brainless fellows. 4 here. 1. You have commas there, na? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you clear? This method? Five. This method? How much? 101. Array, simple, yeah. How many are there? +1 only, na? Here 3. +1, 4. Here 4. +1, 5. Here 100. +1, 101. How many are you passing? Means, is the method defined to take 101 parameters? Is the method defined to take 101 parameters, sir? Do you have one method taking 3 parameters? Sorry, 4 parameters. Do you have one method taking 5 parameters? Do you have one method taking 101 parameters? Did you understand the question or not? Tomorrow, if I pass it 200, this 201, a method to take 201. Array, writing that many number of methods is complex, na? The method takes only 2 parameters. What are the 2 parameters, you know? Watch it. It's a predefined method. How is it defined, you know? Watch. Public, static, void, right line. First one is string. What is that? In which format you want to get the output? What is the second one, you know? String. See, passing the string format. Second one, Params. You have there see params object array. Because there is an object array params, I can pass any number of values as well as any type of values to it now. So here, if this I, J, K are taken into object array, here all these 4 are taken into object array. Here, all these 100 are taken into object array. Are you clear? Understood? Huh? Writing a method with 101 parameters, 201 parameters is easier. See the beauty now. It is only 2 parameters. First parameter, string format. Second parameter, object array. So you can pass a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 1000 also. Choice is yours. It will take all and it will substitute you and it will give you the results to you. Are you clear? So that's what I said. You unknowingly, we are already using this particular concept, but we don't know this is defined like this. And now, same way, I defined a method for you with a params double array. Here, what is it taking? What is the advantage with object array, you know? Because with object array, you can pass integers, strings, floats, anything. But here, I want only doubles. I don't want a string to come here. Strings cannot be added here. I don't want a character to come here. I don't want booleans to come here. What I want only doubles to come here. I'm very specific here. Okay now? Okay. So this is all about the params keyword. This is all about the params keyword what we just have. The params keyword what we just have. Params. Using the params, we're just writing the code. Okay, guys? Understood? Okay, so this is all how we are just going to do that. Okay, fine. Next. Remember, when you are using this params, we have 2 restrictions here. What are the 2 restrictions here? First restriction. We can use params only on 1 parameter of a method. We can use params only on 1 parameter of a method. I cannot use it multiple times, only on 1 parameter. And second restriction, you can use it only on the last parameter of the method. You can use it only on the last parameter. Right now, we have only 1 parameter. That is only first, that is only last. No problem now. Okay, look here. How many are there here? 2. Used on last. Understood? Used on last. How many times you can use parameter method? 1 time. On which parameter? Last parameter. These are the restrictions. I printed all those things in the notes. Don't worry. Whatever I say, everything will be in the notes. Clear? Okay. What next? Still, what is left out? What left out? Is equals to default value. Is equals to default value is left out here. So let's try to understand what is this is equals to default value. Okay. Watch here, guys. Like this, I want to write just a minute. A method public void add nums. Method name is add nums. For add nums, I'm passing 3 variables: int x, int y, int z. Means how many numbers I want to add? 3 numbers. How many numbers I want to add? 3 numbers. What type of values? Integers. That's all. Console.write line. Sum of given 3 numbers is what is the result? X plus y plus z. Okay now? Sum of the given 3 numbers is x plus y plus z. Array, very simple method here. I will not write anything new there. Simple. You pass 3 numbers, it will bring you the sum of the 3 numbers. Now call p dot add nums. Run what? Here, there is nothing special to explain about that method for you. There is nothing special to explain about that method for you. It's a simple method, what I just defined there. Okay now? Just a minute. To separate it, I'll add a line break here. To separate the outputs, I'm just adding a line break here. Okay, what? Okay. Now, how many parameters this method is expecting? Hey, adnums, how many parameters is the method adnums expecting? You pass it there, na? What is there? You are taking that much time to answer again. 3. You pass there, na? 3. How many? Can I call this method in 2 values? Or can I call this method with passing 1 value? No, we can't. We can't call because we're expecting 3. We need to pass 3. See, p dot add nums. P dot add nums 100. That's an error. See, red line. P dot add nums 100, comma 100. Error. Red line. See, I can't. Why? That only here. The method requires what you require to pass? 3 values. The method requires 3, and what you need to pass is 3. I cannot pass 2 or I cannot pass 1 and execute the code. How many are required? You need to pass that many number there. Point clear? Okay. So this what? Now see guys, actually we are, I'm just commenting this because there's an error. We have an option like what, when you're defining a parameter to a method, you can give a default value to that parameter like this. We can give a default value to the parameter like this. So why sir? The doubt will be why sir? Why to give a default value? Why to give a default value? What is the point of giving a default value like this? Okay, so understand all of you. When you're going to give a default value to a parameter like this, now when you're calling this method, when you're calling the method, passing value to that parameter becomes optional. Passing value to that parameter becomes optional. Means you may pass or may not pass also. See here, look now. Am I passing value for Z now? Yes or not? So Z will take that value now. Z will take that value and gives you the result. Okay? Z is taking the value and giving the result. Watch now. I can call the method by passing 2 also. Now earlier red line came, now not coming. See, why sir? Because Z has a default value and that became optional now. So you are not passing a value, then what it will take now? It will take the default value. So what is the result? $25. So Z is using its default value now. Understood? Okay, like this. I can just define the things in my code. Okay, default values method. Okay, now see, can I pass value only for X? No. X, Y both are mandatory parameters. Z is optional. X is mandatory. Y is also mandatory. For Y also can I give a default value? Now see, what is mandatory? X, Y and Z are optional. I can call like this also. What is the result? Tell me. How much? 175. The result is? Okay. Now see, I can pass value only for X. I can pass value for X and Y. I can pass value for X and Z. Array, Y is optional, so I can skip Y also. But how to pass value to X and Z? The doubt arises now. P dot add nums. If I pass 100, 100, the value goes to X and Y, but I want to send the second value to Z. Are you clear? I want to send the second value to Z, not for Y. This is how you can pass. And if I don't tell that the value goes to Y, but you want to send the value for Z. Tell me all the output now. So what output? 250. Passing value only for x, y and z are using default value. Passing value for x and y, z is using default value. Passing value for x and z, y is using default value. Passing value for x, y, z. All the three are using the value what I have given to them. Are you clear? So this is what you can pass a default value. If you pass default value, what happens? When calling the method, passing a value to a parameter will become optional. If you don't pass, automatically which value comes? Default value comes in. Okay. So this is all about the method parameters. Understood everything? Clear or not? Okay, ref out. Ref is input. Out is, ref is in out. Out is output. If I don't write, input. Params. Params keyword if I use, I don't require to create arrays again. If I pass values, you can create arrays. Next, type. Type is the name of the data type. Name. Name refers to the parameter name. Next. And here, n number of parameters what you can just pass for this. So are you clear everything about methods? You can give all the values as default. I'm not telling you you need to do only for one. You can give default values for all parameters, no props. But one thing, you can give default values for all the parameters if you want. Okay. Now see, if you don't have a default value, that is mandatory or optional. If you don't have a default value, that is mandatory or optional. Mandatory. If you have a default value, optional. If you have a default value, optional. If you don't have a default value, mandatory. Understood all of you? Yes or not? Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is, listen. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you is, mandatory parameters should always be in the first place and optional parameters should be in the last place. If all are optional, no problem. But some are mandatory, some are optional. What should happen? Some are mandatory, some are optional. What should happen? Mandatory in the first, optional in the last. Clear? Mandatory in the first and optional in the last. Okay. So that particular sequence has to be followed. That sequence has to be followed. Compulsory. Okay. So this is complete information to you about methods. From the last 3 days, guys, I was telling you how to write methods in different varieties to you. Tomorrow, when you go to the real time, any method you write should be in the way what I teach you. Nothing comes out of the scope. Nothing comes out of the box. Is it clear? Every option what you can use for a method, I've shown you. Combinations may vary, but every option to define a method, I've just clearly shown you in this place here. Okay now? Okay. Actually, when we defined the methods here, to call these methods, we created instance of a class, correct? I did not explain anything about instance creation to you. Why I started with the methods. Again, in the middle, I came with instance creation. Again, if I go to instance creation, we're confusing with methods. So I thought, okay, let me complete about methods first. I did not give you a clear explanation about instance creations and all the things. So today, I will explain you about instance creation, what happens when you create an instance, all these particular things we'll learn in detail. Okay? Watch. I'm adding a new class in the project. I will name the class as first.cs. The class name is first.cs. Now in this class, I'm declaring one public field. Why public service? Public, it can be accessed out of the class also. See, today we are accessing only within the class. With public means out of the class. If I don't say public, it is private. Default scope for the members of a class is private. I already said you. The default scope for the members of a class is private. If I don't write anything, that is private. Accessible only in the class, not. But now I said public, accessible out of the class also. Okay, fine. Now I'm writing a main method. Now in the main method, I wanted to print the x value. in the main method, I want to print the X value. Look, I want to print the X value. Guys, can I directly write console.writeLine X now or not? Tell me, console.writeLine X. Error here. I'm getting an error. I'm not able to do it. It is giving a red line. Error. Why, sir? What is the problem? The problem is, listen this point carefully. Every member of a class, if it is, can be accessed from understood? What is that? Every member of a class, if it is non-static, yeah, the X is static or non-static? Non-static. What is static? I already explained you. Static keyword must be used there, then only. See here? All of you observe it? The X is static or non-static? No error. Watch. No error. Watch. Why? Static. And this condition, see this rule, what is it here? Every member of a class is non-static. Can be accessed from the main method only by using instance of the class. So compulsory, if I don't write static, I should create an instance. So why all this nonsense, sir? We can declare static now. If you write static, all this problem will not be there now. You cannot. Static has a typical behavior here. We cannot use static all the times. Static can be used only in particular scenarios. I will explain you after 2-3 sessions. I'll explain you when to use static and when to use non-static in the code. Are you following my point here? You cannot use static however you want in the code. Static can be used only in particular situations only. So all of you will get it out, sir, why to create all these instances and all the nonsense. I will write up static so I can call it directly now. If you do that, object-oriented programming becomes useless now. Are you clear? If you want to use object-oriented programming correctly, members should be non-static only, but not static. Static can be used only in particular scenarios only. What is this? I'll explain you. Okay. So now, are you clear? I cannot call the X directly. If I want to call the X now, what should I do first? Create the instance. How? First, F is equals to new first. Now, I need to prefix the instance name here and I need to call it f.x. Got it, see? Understood? Remember this? I said you this already to you. First F is equals to new first. What did I say? In the first line, it is a declaration. In the second line, it is we can create the instance of a class only by using a new keyword. We can create the instance of a class only by using the new keyword. Without using a new keyword, instance of a class cannot be created. Without using a new keyword, instance of a class cannot be created. Okay, it is compulsory. You just require to create the instance of the class. If at all you just wanted to create the instance of it. Okay, now, so let's see how are we going to do that. Let us see how are we going to do this instance creation. Let's do this. Let's see the instance creation process in this case. Now, here what happens, basically this is declaration part here. This is declaration. What about declaration? In the declaration state, this is called as variable. We call this as a variable of the class. We call this a variable of the class. Variable means a copy of a class which is not initialized. A copy of a class which is not initialized. Now here on this line, what do you call it? What is this? Instance of the class. What do you call this? So in the instance creation stage, we can go for initializing this. So instance of the class. So here we call it as instance of the appropriate class. So here call variable and here we call instance. Okay. What do you mean instance? Instance of a class is a copy of a class which is initialized. Variable of a class means copy of a class which is not initialized. What do you mean not initialized? Watch it out. Commenting this. When I comment this, F is initialized or not initialized? When I run this, error. What is the error? Use of unassigned local variable F. Use of unassigned local variable F. Point clear? Okay. So F is not initialized. It is not going to initialize. Now I'm writing F dot X. Now it is initialized now. Clear? So remember, very important question. What do you remember? Variable of a class, instance of a class. Variable of a class means copy of a class, but not. So no memory allocation for it. Instance, copy of a class which is initialized by using new keyword. Copy of a class which is initialized by using new keyword. And for this, memory is allocated. And for this, memory is allocated. There's a memory allocation going to happen for this particular thing. So this is going to have the required memory allocation. This is going to have the required memory allocation basically. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So this is what exactly happens to you. So the memory is allocated. I'll show you a picture. Watch it. Did you understand the picture? Yes or not? So what is happening on this line? Null. It's going to be null on this line. And here, it is initialized for you. It is initialized for you on this particular line. F is equals to new first. It is initialized for you there. And you can see the initialized value there. Okay now? So that's what. So new keyword, basically remember all of you, new keyword is responsible for the memory allocation. Without using the new keyword, memory allocation cannot be performed. Here, new keyword is responsible for memory allocation, and without using the new keyword, memory allocation cannot be performed. Okay. Now you write both these two on the same line. What's it? That is only variable, and so initialized on the same line only. I just divided and shown you, that's all. Okay, otherwise you can write it on the same line. So if you write on the same line, then basically what happens? You are creating an instance straight away on the line, and it is going to allocate you the memory to you. It is going to allocate the memory directly. Means this stage won't be there directly. Are you clear? See that new keyword is allocated to memory for X. Initially there is null. That's why when I said first F and F dot X, I got error. Yeah, not initialized. What is present? Null. Null means no value. But when I say is equals to new first, when I say is equals to new first, what happened? Immediately the memory is allocated. Immediately the memory is allocated for that. And it has the required value for you there. Okay now? Fine. Well and good. Next. So we discussed about creating an instance here. Same way, we can kill instances also. We can kill instances also. What is killing instances? Killing means, array, I can just say, watch it, f is equals to null. F is equals to null. We call this as D. What do you call it? Dereferencing or killing an instance. When you perform dereferencing or killing an instance, okay, listen. When you perform dereferencing or killing an instance, this F cannot access that memory anymore. Means the link between F and X is cut off. Got it or not? What happens? The link between F and the F and memory is cut off. The link between F and the memory is cut off. Okay? And because the link between the two is cut off, now, using F, you cannot access X anymore. Using F, you cannot access that X anymore. This F cannot access the X anymore. So suppose if I try to say console.writeline f.x here, that will be an error. So this is valid, but this is invalid. Run. So first time printed here 100. Notice it all? First write line statement printed 100 here. Second write line statement is giving you error. This is an error. Why, sir? Because what are you doing? You are killing or dereferencing the instance. So that's going to give you error. So what exactly happens, sir? What's the picture? The link between F and the memory is cut off. And the memory is now marked as unused. Did you understand me? What happened? Some smiling face here, not able to see your faces. Everyone lazy faces like this. Looking at your faces, I'm getting sleep. Be active. What happened? The link between the F and the memory is cut off there. And now this is marked as unused. That is unused memory. Because the memory is marked as unused now, what happens, at some point of time, all these unused objects will be destroyed implicitly. So you're working in your office. You have a waste paper. Do you go out and throw the waste paper outside and come out, or do you throw the waste paper in a dustbin? You throw in a dustbin until the dustbin is full. Once the dustbin is full, at a time the total dustbin is taken, thrown out and not inside. Am I correct? Now also same here. You make null. Means it is like throwing that in a dustbin, marked as unused. No one can use it. So after throwing in a dustbin, will you take it out again? Or after throwing in a dustbin, will you take it out? You put some food in the dustbin, will you take and eat again? No. Throw it in the dustbin. Same way, once it is marked as unused, that cannot be accessed anymore now. So all these objects which are unused like this, at some point of time, all these unused objects will be destroyed. So assigning null doesn't deallocate the memory immediately. Then when it deallocates at some point of time. When it happens, we don't know. You throw all the papers in the dustbin. Your office boy clears when? End of the day, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, sometime. We cannot say exactly the date and time when this dustbin gets cleared. Correct? Exactly. These all unused objects will be deallocated. All these unused objects will be, unused memory will be deallocated. But some point of time. Until then, that is marked as unused and cannot be used anymore. Is it clear, all of you? Understood what is memory dereferencing? Dereferencing doesn't deallocate the memory. Dereferencing, what it will do? the link between the object, the link between the instance and the memory will be cut off. So this instance cannot access the memory anymore. You don't have a right to access the memory. I cut off the link to you. So this cannot be accessed. See, you have a mobile connection. You have a recharge. Once the time over, what happens? Immediately it is disconnected. Disconnected in the sense, you cannot make any calls now. Your connection is there, but you cannot make calls now until the recharge is done. So it's also, once I say null, you cannot access the memory anymore. That's it. The link got cut off. I hope you people are clear. No confusions? Yes or not? Okay. So this is how you can perform dereferencing of an instance. How to create an instance? New keyword. That is important. New keyword. How to kill an instance? Null keyword. New to create an instance. Null to kill an instance. Create, destroy. Creating, killing. Okay, not killing exactly. What is the word? This is called dereferencing. This is called as dereferencing. Okay now? Look. Can I create multiple instances to a class? Can I create multiple instances to a class? How many? Louder? No. You can create any number of instances to a class. You can create so both these instances will be having separate memory allocation, guys. Both these instances will be having two separate memory allocation. F1 is different. F1 has its own memory, F2 has its own. Okay now? Now under F1 you have a copy of X, under F2 you have a copy of X. So two copies of X are there. Two copies of X are there. Do you catch my point? Okay. Generally, guys, we have a doubt. What is the doubt? Just a second. To print X value, what should I do first? Excuse me. Which class? No, it's not Oracle class. Okay. So to print X, what should I do? First, I should create an instance now. First, F is equals to new first. Okay. Next, console.writeLine F.X. Now, when I create the instance, is it going to allocate the memory? Yes or not? When I create the instance, memory is allocated. Then when memory is allocated, what is the point of calling F.X again, sir? Can't we directly call X? You're telling instance is created for memory allocation. So, okay, I created instance memory allocated. Then why to call F.X? Why can't I directly call X only? Did you catch my point? This is the reason. How many X are there? Come on, tell me how many X are there? One not two. Hey, look at the code and answer. True. How many instances you created? How many X are there? If you directly calling X, which X are you calling? Did you understand me? How many X's are there here? What? Oh, you're directly calling X. Which X here? Tomorrow 10 instances will be there. 10 X's will be there. Which X are you calling? That is why every member should always be prefixed with the instance. Every member should always be prefixed with the instance. F1.x, F2.x. Any confusion? Tell me. Directly X confusion. F1.x, F2.x. No confusions at all now. So that is the reason why members of the class should always be accessible by using instance F1.x plus F2.x. The two separate copies now, what you have. Any doubts? Are you clear? Okay. And now listen. From day one, we are talking about one point. Object-oriented programming is secured. Security, reusability. Already In the previous session, I shown you reusability, called the program class methods in test program. Called the program class methods in test program. Then what is security? What is that security? What is that security now? Watch it. Instances are unique. Instances are unique. That is, any modification that is performed on the members of one instance will never reflect to the member on the other instance. Any modification that is performed on the member of one instance will never reflect to the members of the other instance. What is that, sir? Watch. F1.x is equals to 200. Are you clear? This change will not reflect to F2's x. This change is only to F1's x, but not to F2's x. Watch. Are you clearer or not? Okay. Same way, F2.x is equals to 300. And the change should not reflect to F1 now. Any confusions? Based on this only, all our applications will run in the real time, yeah. Based on this object-oriented programming only. I'm going to give you a basic idea on few concepts and then I'll explain you how ATM systems will run in the real-time environment. We'll understand a case study, how the ATM systems run in the real-time environment. And there you will understand the beauty of object-oriented programming. If changes of one instance reflects to second instance, what will happen? Because the changes are not reflecting how our applications are running, you will understand it. If changes reflects to one to the other, do you know what will happen? Only one customer can use an ATM machine in the whole country at a time. How many? Only one. Basically, one customer is performing a transaction, remaining all the people in the country should wait now until he is done. Are you clear? But are you waiting like that? Everyone was able to do the transactions on their own now, and that is all because of this object-oriented programming only. Means for every customer, one object will be created. For every customer, one object will be created. You make a change on your object. That change won't reflect to me now. I change a modification on my object. That won't reflect to you now. Are you clear? So 1,000 objects created at a time. 1,000 are unique. Changes won't reflect to each other. Everyone can do the transactions perfectly without any problems. Anytime did you hear this scenario? What's it? I deposited the money, got added to someone's account. I withdraw the money deducted in someone's account. You never heard about this now? Because that is the beauty of object-oriented programming. I'll tell you a case study after 2-3 days to make you understand the real beauty of object-oriented programming to you, and you will understand what is security perfectly there. Is it clear? Today only a sample, that's all. The changes of F1 did not reflect to F2. The changes of F2 did not reflect to F1. I hope this is clear for all of you. Yes or not? Okay, so this is completely about how you just go for creating. So instance creation clear? Instance killing is clear? Creating multiple instances is clear? Okay, 3 things I just to show you. Creating instances, killing instances, creating multiple instances. Guys, whatever I taught you, I'm not again reading the notes again, but point to point what I explained you will be inside of the notes. Input parameter, output parameter, in-out parameter. First example, output parameter. Second example, in-out parameter. Third example, method parameters. In this I explained about params as well as default values. Okay now? Next, now I explained you instance creation, with pictures I have all the things. Next, killing. Next, multiple instances. Watch this picture also. That only I shown you now. Changes of F1 not reflected to F2. Changes of F2 did not reflect to F1. In the first step, you modified F1 6. Second step, you modified F2 6. Done. Okay now. So this is how you just use. Okay. Still, there's some few more things to understand. I'll tell you in the tomorrow session. Okay. Let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow.
Recording stopped.